Hey, Mike, what do Kelly Slater and PT have in common?
I don't know. They're both world champs?
Nope, they both own Endless Summer box set.
Oh my God, rad. You guys, you can get it too. The link's in the show notes.
Foot out choke food. 100 racks on a surf dude. Slippery, big guns like Mark Food. Trap jumping like a kangaroo. 100 foot out.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Quivercast, where we chat with surfers from all around the world, from all walks of life, and we get their story. Find us at www.thequivercast.com. I am Mike, your host. Let's get into the show. All right, today we got Beau Cram on the Quivercast. How you doing, Beau?
Good, mate. Good to be here.
Man, thank you for doing this.
Yeah, no worries.
First off, your dad's Richard Cram, right?
Yes.
A world-renowned. I guess they call that a cutback, but his surfing was phenomenal. But we'll talk about that later. So the Cram name is pretty well known in the surfing world, at least history-wise. Your dad.
Yeah, for sure.
How is having that name, Cram, growing up?
Yeah, it's obviously been pretty epic being kind of born into like some little bit of surfing royalty. Like Dad's got heaps of respect all around the world, and everywhere he's traveled, he seems to have made good friendships, and people, have a lot of time for him. So it's made checking out new places and meeting people, especially the older generation who were kind of like the Groms, and he was at his peak.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of heaps of fans of Dad, so it's been it's sick. Yeah, and then like to get to surf with those people.
Oh yeah,
like Richard's son. It's always a trip for them, and yeah, it's cool. So it's always like good to hear stories of Dad and sessions that people have had with him.
That's awesome. Epic. So then let's go back as far as your memory bank goes of surfing. When do you remember like surfing, or do you just remember surfing your whole life? Like when did you start surfing?
When I started surfing, it was, I don't know, when I got the age I got pushed into waves, but I do remember like because we all went and lived in San Diego at Ponto Beach.
Oh, did you?
For 5 years. Dad worked for Rip Curl.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was sick. It was an epic time, and we got heaps of friends over there still. And
oh, wow.
I think like when we were like, we'd have these big fires down at the beach every like few weekends, and everyone in the neighborhood would come down. And I remember like standing up on bodyboards back then. That was like when I was like 4 or 5. South side of the it was sick.
Yeah. So did you go to elementary school and stuff here in San Diego?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
we were there for 5 years. So yeah, Mum and Dad had my oldest brothers at Aviara Oaks, and then Chet and I, my twin brother, we went to Pacific Rim Elementary. So yeah,
wow.
They did the full like Pledge Allegiance first thing in the morning, and cafeteria, and it was a totally different experience. And then coming back to Australia and having to wear uniforms, and it's just a different kind of structure in a way.
Okay.
So it's cool.
You're an Australian citizen. Are you an American citizen too, or no?
Nah.
No. Okay.
No, Dad never got green cards. We just kind of had to get back.
Okay. So how's doing the Pledge of Allegiance as an Aussie? Did you have to do it?
Yeah. Everyone had to do it. I don't think you could.
You're not a citizen.
Yeah, but living under the under the flag, it's just like looking back at like how patriotic Americans like are from the get-go of the flag, and I can easily like recite it pretty much how like you do it every day.
Yeah.
4 years and you're a kid, it's like it's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's baked in there.
Right? Yeah, it's huge. It's epic. Exact same time, so all the kids are doing it exact same time. So yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. So that's something new I learned. I didn't know you lived in San Diego. So do you remember the waves here? Like, were you getting totally into surfing here, or did you not just kind of like casually surfed here?
Casually. Older brothers were doing contests.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They were doing contests. They were like, age was So my older brother Bades, 6 years older than me, and then
Yeah.
Dylan, 4 years, and then Jed's my twin.
Okay.
So Jed and I we were pretty young. We weren't like microgom surfing.
Yeah.
Dad was never like, he never would push us into waves and get us involved too early, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
But there's more in Australia, in Sydney, where I kind of took it on more.
Sound like you enjoyed your time here. It was kind of a good memory for you.
Yeah, it was sick. You guys are coming up to Halloween now. You guys have just got shit everywhere out front of your houses and like candy, and like we used to carry around like pillowcases and
Yes.
just chock-a-block them full of candy. It's crazy, man. And now Australia's like tapping into the Halloween
Starting to do it.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bizarre, but yeah, being in America at that time as
Yeah.
a kid, like 90s, 2000s was it's a pretty golden age to be in California,
Oh yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
epic. Okay, so were you bummed like the first year back at home and realizing like you don't get to trick or treat?
Oh, not too much.
Oh, okay.
Nah,
You're fine.
it was fine. Dad moved us all back to this little town just north, it's like the kind of northern peninsula of Sydney. It's called Avalon.
Okay, yeah.
It's
100%, yeah.
I listened to your podcast with Bainey.
Yeah.
We grew up with Bainey just down the road, so
Mhm.
that was like kind of where I kind of grew up and finished school and started surfing.
Okay, so you moved back to Australia. How was that? Was the transition smooth?
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Okay.
We came over and like in the summertime and Christmas, and I can remember like the surf was just so much better.
Oh,
Like,
really?
I was in board shorts every day in
Oh,
summer,
yeah.
and this little rip bowl right hander in the corner at North Ave. It's just like a really good spot to learn and take up surfing as a kid. And there's like, a bunch of kids in the block that were my age surfing, and we all just kind of free to go surfing from like 10 years old. So running down to the beach and
That's
surfing
epic.
together. Yeah, it was good.
Did you eventually surf contest?
Yeah, I did. From like, I only really did like the Grom comps from like 12 to 16. I did like a couple pro juniors, but I loved it when I was like younger. But once I got a little bit older and I was in high school, and I just, I lost interest overnight, really.
Really? Okay.
But when I was doing them, I was loving them. It was so much fun. Like, I used to hassle people and paddle people
aggressive?
down the beach. No, sometimes I'd like I had like little rivalries with some surfers, and it was like looking back on it, like how fun, getting to do that. It's just like you're just surfing a heat, and you think it's like a huge contest, but it's just like a little pop-up contest. Hilarious.
Who were the guys you were rivaling? Do you remember?
I was in like Matt Banting and Connor O'Leary's
Wow.
division, and Sol Bailey.
Yeah.
Those crew of guys. Yeah, just those guys were like, Connor he didn't have as much talent at that age as Banting did. I don't know if you know Matt Banting.
I totally know he is. Yeah.
But like he was just always really consistent, and he just like kept getting better and better with tests as he got older. And like, look at him now, he's doing really good.
Yeah, Connor
And it's
O'Leary
like-
rips.
Yeah, and it's epic to see him on tour and getting big results, and he's only getting better. So it's just like, my approach to surfing and my love for it's a bit different to his.
100%.
I just, it's good to kind of see his like progression, and it definitely gets me all psyched for sure.
And then Matt Banting, I'm sure he's still ripping, but yeah, he made the CT for a couple of years too, right?
Like, I reckon he surfs so good,
He does.
but I don't know, it just didn't click with him that year on tour, and he got injured, and then I don't know what happened. I was because he literally won every single contest he went in.
Oh, I bet.
Like,
100%.
yeah. Yeah, and like every major contest, you're like, oh, Banting's in it, he's gonna win. And he just like little contest machine. He'd just like throw like 10-foot of spray, and we were all throwing 5-foot of spray, and he's just tapped it perfectly.
Wow.
We were just going, oh, god damn it.
He's just a natural. Wanted to win. But so back to Beau. But Beau, you go to bed at night, you wake up in the morning, and you realize I'm over contest.
I did a pro junior at Manly,
Okay.
and there's a Indo surfer. His name's Oni Onwa. He's really good, especially in small waves. He just like, he's so light in his feet. I'm not that type of surfer. I'm kind of I'm pretty light frame, but I kind of, all my brothers and my old man, we all surf with like, I've got a bit of heavy foot. And
Yeah.
it's always nice to have a bit of power.
Yep.
I remember just like entering this contest. It costed like $250, and I, went out and like got like a total score of 2 at like half a foot manly, and I was just like, I could have just spent that going up the coast. I was just had all these other ideas and what I could have done with that money just to go on a road trip, and didn't really find the fire to sign up for anymore. I was just like, no, I'm good. And
cool.
Yeah, it was the best thing for me.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's different, and which we'll talk about in your style.
Totally.
Yeah. So your dad was cool with it? Your whole family was cool with it? Your brothers and everything?
Oh, yeah. My dad couldn't care less.
Oh, really? Interesting.
That's the one really cool thing I've always noticed, especially with other guys my age and just like with their parents, and how like it's probably in America too with the parents, and think their kids are going to be the best.
Yes.
And then like too much pressure, he just burns them out. And I've watched that so many times. And Dad, yeah, he never had that push, which was sick.
Yeah, that's super cool. But he also had experience in the contest, so he probably knew, either I'm assuming either want it or not want it.
It's pretty funny. Like, he's always like really breaks things down. He's very like simplifies it. And like these 2 main things I remember him telling me, it was just like, quick start's a good start.
Okay.
And how you want to start your wave is you want to go straight down, straight back up to get your rhythm going.
Oh, yeah.
And that was it. Those 2 things stuck with me, but I'm not doing contests anymore, so it could have been a bit better. But it definitely helped, like, just get started and then go straight down, straight up and whack it. So it's funny. That was his competitive kind of vision. It was sick.
No, that's great. All right, right
Yeah.
on. In high school, you're over contests, and you just start becoming I guess we have to label it something. So a free surfer, or just a guy that surfs, basically.
Yeah, pretty much a free surfer. I guess like a free surfer gets paid and he makes a living out of it. But I don't know, I just just started getting over my normal shortboards and just started playing around on soft tops and single fins and things like that, and just it brought me so much more joy in my surfing. And yeah,
definitely
changed.
So that opened up this different window of surfing, and you were there just strictly to have fun, basically.
Yeah, for sure. I remember like just at the right hander I was telling you about, North Ave, because Derek Hine, he lived at Newport at the time.
Okay.
And I was riding this just old soft top and, just fins the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And he was out there on this finless board, and like back then it was like he was the only person in the whole area doing that. And there's probably like a couple crew up north, but that was the first time I properly saw finless, and we just swapped boards out the back.
Okay.
He just picked up my foam, he flipped it over on its, the deck down, and then rode the fins forward. So it's just the whole exact opposite way around. I was just like, this guy's a tripper.
Yeah, he's total trip.
Derek is a bit of a tripper, but he's also like super calculated, and he knows exactly what he's doing. So it's really cool. Definitely eye-opening.
Did you get your board back and try it after that?
I don't even think I did. I might have.
Okay.
But I was like, it just seemed like outrageous at the time. I was just, oh, no, I'll just keep surfing. I'm having fun. But like,
okay.
Now I'm like, okay, Derek was tapping in hard back then before everyone.
Yeah. So let's talk about I guess some people call it like finless or friction free or whatever it is. Do you enjoy surfing like that? Did you try that board?
Yeah, totally. I definitely don't do it as much at the moment because I'm just surfing lefts over in WA.
Yep.
But back on rights and little like right-hand rip balls, it's super playful, and you can definitely push. There's a lot in finless that people haven't done. It's a lot of like kind of different ways to approach riding a board finless, and there's heaps of different styles, and yeah, it definitely consumed a lot of my time and my surfing for the good part of like 2 to 3 years.
Okay. Now your foot placement's different though, right? How you set your feet?
It's a little bit different, yeah.
Okay. Was that a hard learn, or was that easy to learn?
No, it's pretty easy.
Okay.
Like kind of everyone that you see that does finless, they got that like that real buckled knee stance.
Yeah, down.
I find.
Yeah.
Yeah, like kind of Ari Brown and Jordan Rodden and Derek and a few other crew. They all, it's like that. They call it Indo squat over here, where you can kind of like tuck down in like a little ball really easy.
Yes.
Yeah. So I found out I had a real good Indo squat, and fitness was easy. So I just kept doing it.
That's rad. Okay. So we'll go backwards still. So you're in high school, you're just surfing. And then what are your plan on for your life? Just, you want to surf forever, right? Is that your intention?
Yeah. Surfing is always going to be a part of it. But
okay.
my two older brothers, Bades, he's a sparky, he's an electrician, and Dylan's a plumber.
Okay.
And Dad was pretty adamant about us just going, and if we didn't know what we wanted to do as for a career and university-wise,
Mm-hmm.
he pretty much said you got to go out and get a trade.
Yeah. Smart.
Yeah, so that was kind of the option, and definitely surfing during school absorbed a lot of time and just my headspace. As always, our school was like a stone's throw away from the beach, and always be looking at the surf at lunch, and just straight after school, straight surfing. It's a double-edged sword in a way, surfing, if you're not making sure it's not consuming too much of your time. But end of the day, I took up carpentry, still doing it, still love it. It's definitely allowed me time and flexibility to surf as much as I can.
That's awesome.
When the waves are good, which is nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that's rad. All through your years, you're living on the East Coast though, right? Are you loving the East Coast?
Yeah, East Coast is epic. Yeah, Avalon, and spent some time down the South Coast for a few years after my apprenticeship, and up north around Byron area. So I was kind of floating for a few years there just after my apprenticeship, and moving around and living up and down the coast and checking out all the waves and working. Yeah, it's good.
And getting plenty of time in the water. Are you working around the surf? Are you picking your days to work?
Pretty much. Everything's worked around surf.
Okay.
Everywhere I live is worked around surf and based around it. It's like the underlying rule: live somewhere that you can surf and work, and yeah.
You never had an opportunity to go like in the middle of the country to do some work, and you're like, nope, turn it down, kind of thing.
It's there in Western Australia. There's a lot of commuting. There's big spaces in between towns, and you do get like contract inland and stuff, which might end up happening down the track.
Okay.
At the moment, I've been working in town, and I don't have to do any of that yet, so it's been a blessing.
Right on. Are you like a resident of Western Australia? Or are you just kind of still visiting, or what's the scenario? And why did you move over there?
So I'll just start with, we kind of during COVID, I kind of came back from California, and I got locked down in Sydney during when everything hit the fan, and it was just like it was crazy time, eh?
Yeah.
Australia had pretty
strict,
strict lockdowns, and like you couldn't leave your state until your state had zero COVID for 28 days straight.
Yeah.
So you're pretty much a clean state, and then because no other states would take you on.
Yep.
I got locked down, and a really good friend of mine, Mo, this German fella, is just a really, really cool dude. He's actually an architect.
Okay.
And he was living in Margaret River a few years previously, and he was telling me all about this work he had over there. And we were just doing little jobs around Sydney, and he just kept saying, you should come over and do some work, and we go live in Western Australia for a little while. And at that time, I was like pretty ungrounded in Sydney. I didn't really know where I'd like to kind of settle down, and so I was just like, let's do it. Let's go for a road trip. And so we ventured off, another couple good friends of ours, and made a road trip all over to WA together, like at end of 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, and parked up in South Australia for a couple months, and then the border was shut from South Oz to WA for such a long time, and there was like 25 days of no COVID, and we're just waiting in South Australia for it to open. And like the day that it opened was Christmas morning. So like I'm in a line in the middle of nowhere, like at the border at Eucla, and there's cops everywhere. The border hasn't been open for months, and there is a huge line of people trying to get in. and it was chaos. So yeah, we crossed the border at like 2 a.m. Christmas morning, and
Wow.
ended up slipping in. It was only open for a week, which is bizarre. And yeah, I've pretty much been in WA since 2021.
Wow.
So nearly 3 years. Yeah.
And what's the difference between the East Coast and Western?
Whoa, so much, man. It's like Margaret River's really beautiful and it gets a lot of rain and it's lush down there. But as you venture north, it just gets more and more barren. The East Coast is just like Byron Bay is the most eastern point of Australia, and Shark Bay, which is about 2 hours north of here, is the most western point of Australia. And Cowbarry's 2 hours south of Shark Bay, and the places couldn't be any more different. Hey, like, this is this little crayfishing town.
Oh wow.
And everyone's it's just like a pretty tough little town. Everyone works pretty hard, and the waves are just like breaking on like shallow, sharp reef, and they can just like fold you pretty easily. And you go to Byron and you got like 2-foot little right-handers peeling around the corner with girls on longboards. And
Yes.
over here you got grumpy cray fishermen that want to get their waves and hate blow-ins. It's crazy.
How are you treated there?
Different. Oh, I try and slip through the cracks. You know? I pick my times. I try and surf in the first thing in the morning, and when it's on shore, but not copping too much grief. It's nice, but yeah, there's a lot of crew heading back down the coast over winter time, and yeah, it does get busy. Some people get pretty angry. It's pretty well known in Australia, Cowbarry being a pretty localized little spot, so it's kind of like a Santa Cruz sort of vibe.
Really? Okay.
In a way, but a very small version.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a small town.
So how many people live in the town, do you know?
Oh, man, probably like 5,000.
Okay, yeah, it's super small. How many guys are surfing, and gals or whoever? How many surfers?
The local spots, Jake's, I know it fluctuates. Some days you can be surfing with a couple, and some days you surfing with like 20, 25, and it's just like a tiny little takeoff zone. And it's it's a sick wave, but yeah, it gets busy, and like some locals you don't want to come up against, drop in on it all.
Now, are the local guys, I guess you're living there, so you don't have to say, but are they taking off in front of you? Like, you know, I grew up here, it's my spot, or are they kind of respect? Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. There's definitely a pecking order.
Okay,
that is pretty obvious. So yeah, you just kind of. I just like scrapping on the inside a lot of the time.
Yeah. Get the leftovers, kind of.
Yeah, and then occasionally one slips through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're sitting underneath them, you can get them for sure.
Yeah, no, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at most of the time anywhere.
Actually, going back to when you were a Grom, was it kind of localized at home when you were, let's say 13, 14 years old? How was the lineup at home?
Yeah, in a way. It was definitely different. Definitely not as protected as the waves around here. A lot of WA is pretty protected.
Yes.
You know, for the right reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Sydney's different. You got all the northern beaches of Sydney, and like there's so many more beaches. Yeah. So there's so many more surf clubs and board rudders. So like you got your local, which is only like a little beach, and you got like your waves, and then you go to different beaches, and there's a totally different kettle of fish there. Not like who've got their thing, but it's definitely a lot more prominent, 10, 15 years ago.
Okay.
As opposed to now, a lot more crew have moved to town. Every time I go back there, some days I surf. I don't really know anybody in the water, so it's a lot different to what it used to be.
Is that good or bad?
Still get the waves that you're local, but it's definitely like back in the day when you're surfing and you had every generation of people that you knew and still hang out with, and being part of local board rudders was really fun, and definitely missed that aspect of the surfing.
Yeah.
The contest every month, but yeah, it's a little different. It's good. Change is fine. It's just less people.
You would prefer
more people everywhere, eh?
Everywhere. And surfing, do you think surfing's grown a lot?
Surfing has grown heaps, yeah.
Okay.
Can imagine over in your little area how much it's grown, and
it's tremendous.
Yeah.
But you can still
For
find
sure.
an empty wave here and there, especially in like the right time of day. You can get some.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
no, I love a little stretch around Oceanside. It's a sick little zone.
yeah, I like it. So you've traveled all over the world. Where's some of the places you've been to?
We used to do heaps of family trips.
Okay.
Old man used to take us on like family trips, are pretty much just surf trips because all us boys we'd all surf, and
Yeah.
he'd just take us to spots, and we'd all, it was just like, it was based around surfing again.
Okay.
But yeah, went to Haiti, Hawaii, and a bunch of trips to Indo. Love Indo, and a lot of Australia, California.
So
California.
you're well traveled.
Yeah, not as much as other contest surfers, but yeah, definitely we love traveling.
So how is it, like, let's say Indo with your dad and your brothers? Are you guys pushing each other? Or what's the vibe out there if all you guys are out together surfing?
It's funny. It's like only very rarely happens these days. It happened like around Christmas time when we all actually do get in the water.
Okay.
It's pretty funny. It's like we just like start taking over the peak, just do cycles.
Oh, okay.
Just, yeah, we get too excited, all of us together.
Okay.
But yeah, my two older brothers, Bades and Dill, they surf incredibly well.
Okay.
Yeah, they kind of bowed out in contests similar time as me, but yeah, Dylan, he was always super keen on surfing bigger waves.
Okay.
Did like a trip to Chopu, it was one of those big toe swells, and went down to Shipsterns, and was always traveling with his buddy at a young age. I was always kind of admiring him for doing that, and
yeah,
it was definitely always good brotherly competition going on.
When he was going on these trips, were you invited?
No, I was still in high school.
Okay.
I was shit scared of that sort of stuff. Still
Okay.
am.
Okay, that was my next question.
I love pushing myself, but yeah, shit scared of chopes, big chopes. I'd surf solid chopes, but not extra large chopes.
I mean, I've never been there, but it seems like such a gnarly, like, I don't know, it could kill you for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely such a beautiful way. I find from back then though till now, and like looking at the wave and how I'd approach it if I had an opportunity to go there, it definitely looks a lot more manageable for sure.
Okay.
Just watching waves, and okay, that's actually a lot easier to do than I used to think.
And why do you think that is? More guys are surfing it, so you have more footage to watch?
Yeah, just kind of surfing other waves that are dangerous, and knowing that you just got to paddle, be more under it, and falling into it. Little logistics to it that you kind of get too scared to think about when you're younger. But now it's like, okay, I can easily get the ride of my life a bit easier out there if I had a crack.
Yeah,
definitely.
But it would be backside for you too. Would that be a benefit or a disadvantage, you think?
Yeah, I reckon chopes is a better backside wave.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about your style. So you have a rad kind of smooth, I don't know. I mean, almost like it's not the norm that I see in the lineups. And it's definitely not contest surfing, It's not. It's phenomenal. I love your style. Did that style change as a child? Are you doing contests as a kid to surfing today? Like, how has your style changed?
Definitely not contest starts. Sometimes it is. I do like getting on a shortboard and trying to, like, you get in the headspace where you want to go and smash some waves, and some days you just want to take it super mellow and act like you're Joel Tudor and just cruise. And, I definitely always try and play around with how I approach certain sessions, and like riding all different types of boards. You kind of learn which board kind of likes to be pushed a bit more and which one has to be nursed, and it's always different little variables within the surfboard that I like to surf with a bit of a criteria with the board as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I just like to try and keep it as fun and
fresh.
I guess fresh, not predictable.
Yes.
I find predictable surfing is too common these days, and
yes, that's what I'm saying.
Watching old school like surfing, like in the 90s, just like Occy doing psycho backside snaps and like doing a little fucking head flick halfway, and like just things that you can't predict coming, and then you see it and you go like, and that's like when it starts to light up and you start getting inspired, is when like you don't know what's coming next. And I find surfing, that's like the special thing about it. If you're not trying to do stuff that like prizes you or your buddy in the water, why you want to try and just do 3 turns to the beach, and obviously if you're a good surfer you can do it, but
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely not as exciting as trying to hit new lines and have fun with it.
Yeah. So I think there's multiple, let's say, different groups of surfers. The way you approach it and surfing and your style, mix it up a little bit. It seems like with all the different equipment you're riding, your surfing is fresh, but how do you pick your equipment for that day?
Oh, it's a good question. It's hard, eh?
And how many boards do you have in the car?
Oh, I've got a van. I've got plenty.
Okay.
But I've been riding Chris Christensen's boards for the last sort of 5 years.
Yeah.
It's definitely changed my surfing. It's really interesting to like look back on how I used to surf and how I surf now.
Mm-hmm.
Just I kind of see like his approach to shaping and what he kind of likes to do. He's got a lot of snowboarding background. He shapes snowboards with
Mm-hmm.
professional snowboarders, and he's got like a very unique outline and rockers to his boards. And like you look at him and you just pick it up and you're like, wow, this thing is a rocket. I think it's kind of like the best thing for my surfing was to kind of start getting the opportunity to ride his boards and how quick they go, and like up through a section it feels so nice. And that's the kind of things I like chasing. Yeah, going real quick. Yeah.
So go back to the question: how do you pick the board for the day? Are the waves, the wind, the tide, like what?
Wave, wind, tide.
Okay.
Bloody crowd.
No crowd. Yeah.
Yeah. I find if it was like a little bit on shore and not busy and fun and rippable, that's when I'd take a shorter board out. But if it was big and offshore and busy, I'd take a bigger board out so I can just, I'm not missing any ones that I'm paddling for. And yeah, heaps of variables that I have in mind that I'm boards out of the van.
Yeah. Do you ever go like come back up and switch them out? Like, oh, this board's not as fun today. Let me try this.
Yeah, plenty of times. Actually, I've actually just been body surfing a bunch the last.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that.
Yeah, that's where the fun's at the moment. Hey, like kind of you slip through the cracks big time in the body. You don't have a bad session. Very rarely have bad sessions when you body surf.
Are you sitting in the shore pound or are you going in the outside?
On the outside.
Wow.
Yeah, it's funny, man. Like in Calgary, they don't like bodyboarders.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But body surfers, you can kind of, it's just like you're body surfing, man. You can't knock a body surfer. So you go out there and you paddle out and you kind of like make your way up the pack like a seal. And before you know it, you're on the inside. So good.
Fins on or no fins?
Yeah, fins.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're swimming just like you're just flowing through out there, just getting out there.
Yeah, it's good, man. I find body surfing's really good, being able to put yourself in a good position.
Yeah.
But when you are surfing, and like it's just like the best CrossFit when the waves are good too, because swimming's just the best thing for you, and good breath work when you're swimming. So it's always nice.
Yeah. Interesting. Do you bodyboard or never?
I got a bodyboard. I love bodyboarding. I just don't do it around here. Some things I just don't try. Don't push the boundaries too much. Maybe next season.
Okay. Once you're known, you recognize a little more.
Yeah. It's funny. I'll be out there soon.
And then when you get your boards from Chris, are you just calling him and telling him kind of what you want, or are you guys talking dimensions and all that?
A lot of the time I've picked boards up off him. I've pretty much just gone stock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because he's pretty dialed in, and I'm sure he's kind of taps and changes a little bit if he needs to. But I've changed a few boards, but a lot of the boards I get off him is just stock kind of shapes, and it's it's been good. I definitely have a few ideas for next season around here for the types of boards that have gone well and how I'd like to change them up a little bit. So yeah, it's been good. It was interesting when I came over here. I over to WA. I was on these like Chris's boards are relatively flat, and they're just made for speed. I was kind of a bit worried because I didn't have any like kind of step up semi guns and those types of boards, because I'm not really used to riding too much like rocketed boards at the moment. You got the box and all these other types of waves that are quite steep. Once I got to WA and I was surfing Main Break and North Point and all these waves, it was so fascinating how like a California kind of inspired board can go so good these waves if you just like hit certain lines, and they're going so quick and so much fun. And some of the bombies riding the big 20s, they were just going so much faster and could ride boards that are like a foot to 2 foot smaller than what other crew are riding.
Wow.
And just holding is really cool.
Let's talk about the box. Did you surf that place? You like it?
I do. I'm shit scared of the box. It's definitely it's always busy, and it's definitely like so satisfying getting a good drop and like just sitting in it, and just those like 2 seconds of just perfection. It's epic. But when you're out there and you're sitting out with a pack of bodyboarders and you peel over a swell and you see like a 6 to 8 foot wave coming at you, and you're in spot, it's like, I've been out there with Jack Robinson and like peeking over the waves that he's taking off on and how vertical they are. And like, there's like, Chris's boards are sick and I can find waves to get them into him. But like, there's waves out there that you definitely need more rocker and like narrower boards. And I find, he was just blowing me away. There's a few other local crew, but watching him doing that up there was just unbelievable. There's some really good guys who surf that wave really well.
I bet. Dude, I've never been there. Once again, I've never been there, but it looks so heavy. It's just such a scary wave. But
yeah, man, that the rock it breaks on is considered. I've talked to a lot of good surfers and that have surfed all around the world, and they said that the box is one of the worst. It's not flat at all. It's just sharp limestone, and it's just been there for thousands of years. It's not moving.
Wow. Okay, and then a couple, or at least one year, they ran a CT event there, and there's some of the top guys in the entire world were, they're pulling back. They're nervous. Which I mean, I see why, but it's a heavy wave. I guess. Is my point.
Like, you just don't want to get caught in the lip. You either want to like be 100% and then pin drop because you're too deep, or you're not going to make it, and then you just pull at the back, or like you just go, nah, I'm not going. Like, just I find like if you start paddling for one of those waves, you really don't want to pull back and go over with the lip, because that's just like the most dangerous part of the whole wave. And it's like there's not much difference of tucking under it and then having to deal with that. So there's a fine line, and it's epic. It was really cool to see like Katie Simmons surfing it, probably doing the best I've ever seen a chick out there. And
wow,
it's definitely rad seeing those chicks surfing it.
And you were out there at the same time?
Nah, I just saw footage.
Okay, saw footage. Okay.
I was in North at the time, but I was there. My first season during the WCT was on there, and there's chaos, man. There was so many good guys and so many cameras, and just like, you just don't want to be pressured going a bad one out there.
No shit.
Yeah.
Right on. Also, let's talk about, you have a couple short films, but the one that has the best name and surfing so well, the Cramaverse.
Yeah,
Enter the Cramaverse. Cramaverse. Yeah.
You like the name?
I love the name. It's you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it came to me one day. It was funny because my buddy Tommy, he calls me Crammer.
Okay.
So, yeah, I just thought Metaverse, Cramaverse, it's my movie, it's my little world. That's it. That's how we do it.
It makes sense. How did it happen?
How did it come to fruition?
Well, there you go.
So the right-hand slab footage was filmed during our crossover between the East Coast and the West Coast.
Okay. It
was filmed by my buddy Mo, my German buddy. Just filmed off a handy cam with no tripod. He was just tucked up on the dunes, smoking ciggies, hanging out with his dog, and he got some sick footage. Like, he's got like a really good eye. He knows everything he touches, he makes good. So it was actually really steady, and we ended up getting some gold out of that with that footage and some 20 stuff. And I was just kind of sitting on that. I didn't really put any of it up on the internet because I didn't know what to do with it. And then, as I my first surf out main break. Tommy was in the car. When we first got over, and I surfed on my big 20, and then Tommy messaged me that afternoon. I didn't know who he was, but he was like, "Hey, I'd love to do some filming with you, or like shoot some photos." And I've never really had too many photographers approach us like that.
Okay.
And so it's like, oh yeah, sweet. Since the day we caught up and went and got some footage, and got some good stuff, and
Great stuff.
got a really good connection, Tommy and I.
Mm-hmm.
And we just did like a little trip up north, up to Nalu, got some more footage, and we were just kind of sitting on all this like random sessions, and we were just wondering how we were going to piece it together. And I ended up doing a bit of traveling, and he was at home, and that was his first surf film he ever put together.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had no budget on that film. It was just us putting together a little film, and it's definitely
It's a good film.
Yeah, it was sick. It was really good to hear all the cool feedback.
Yeah.
From like all types of surfers, like all the old boys. I had I think Cole Christensen, he just messaged us on my Instagram. I didn't even know he was following me. The guy's just like a hero to me. And he was like, epic film, loved it. And I was like, what? Like Cole Christensen watched the Cramaverse.
Oh, cool. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, people were kind of like, they definitely took note, and gave us heaps of props for it. And I was so stoked. Like Tommy just wanted to do it just for the love of it. And I had a few crew kind of tried to get some feedback off them, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you can make you should make it shorter and just use the best parts." And I'm like, "No, this is a film, man. Like this is a 15-minute experience. You can't. The Cramaverse isn't a 3-minute bloody pump out.
That's right.
It's not a 3-minute reel. It's a film.
Right.
So it was sick, and it got like in the top 10 stab films of the year, which is like, I looked at the list of films,
mm-hmm.
and I was like, I'd love to see like the best film with no budget, because like all these other guys are getting paid from their like sponsors like big money to go travel to Indo for like 3 months and stack clips.
Right.
And I just like got my bloody German architect mate to film with no tripod, and Tommy, who was like, just doing some filming here and there up north, and like we ended up a really good combination of Tommy's kind of vision for the film.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a lot to do with him, and he was just playing with my surfing, which is cool.
And the editing process, did Tom do it all that, or did you help?
Yeah, well, Tom did it all.
Wow.
I didn't have much input. We were just going like back and forth a little bit.
Okay.
But
excellent.
Like, we both watched that Tom Curran free scrubber.
Oh yeah.
And it's kind of like, surfing. You want to be entertained and surprised, and like that free scrubber, I was just like, everything he was doing, I was just going, what the fuck are you doing? Guys putting foil on his, and like that was sick. Like you can watch that start to finish because it wasn't boring.
Right.
And we were like, you know what, we got to go down the free scrubber path and just make this a little bit quirky, and that we did. And there's not one single air in it, and it was rad. We continue to talk about. I got a little bit of footage from this year. We want to start putting together for a 2.0.
Oh yeah, 100%. I hope you guys do.
Yeah. It's a little bit challenging with just obviously a little bit of budget helps. You can't afford to just fly myself around, and
yes,
and Tommy as well. He's got a family, and I got a little boy on the way. So yeah.
Well, maybe someone will step up and help you guys out. That'd be rad.
I was thinking, we were doing like, shit, man, if we could do that on zero budget, imagine if we got like $5,000 or like,
yeah.
But it's just surfing. We had fun doing it, and we'd love to do another one. I think it's just going to happen organically. It might happen in 20 years, and it might just be a body surfing film. Yeah, real strange body surfing film.
Okay, so were you known like internationally as much before that film?
Jeez, I don't know. I don't really know. It's like for kind of well known, it's like social media these days. I've got nowhere near as many followers as other crew. I'm not really. It's a hard one to kind of, for me to wrap my head around doing like content creating and doing all that whilst I got a job, and
It's hard.
I live a different life to that. I'm not making a living from it, so I don't want to put too much time into it. But I think, yeah, definitely got noticed a lot more for like my the different array of surfing to do, you know. And there's definitely like that niche crew of surfers in the world who can kind of pick up boards and ride, and their approach to them is kind of very unique.
Yeah.
And I guess that's like kind of the cup I've fallen into.
Yes, 100%. Now, I'm going to bring your dad back into it. Do you think you and your dad have a similar style?
Jeez. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, I was going to have you
Yeah,
answer
yeah.
that.
He's got like tree trunk legs, and I've got like little noodle legs. So like, that's right. That's right. That's where I do finless, and he just does big gouges.
That's funny. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
watching some of your dad's footage then. And I'm like, you're not surfing exactly alike at all by any means, but you can see the similarities for sure.
Yeah, when I surf, I always like to have a surf in my mind that I'd like to like kind of tap into and try and surf like them.
Okay.
It kind of helps me like get into like a little bit of a rhythm with how I want to surf. And it might be Andy Irons, it might be Occy, it might be Taylor Knox, and a lot of the time it's definitely my dad, because obviously we got the same, like, you know, big shoulders and, you know, same sort of DNA, man. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's silly for me not to try and carry on like a style that is kind of already perfected in a way, and I just kind of go from there with it, do my own little twists.
Actually, let me ask you this. So, are you an actor too? Or no? There was a movie you got labeled for, and I think it's a real movie. It's called Love Forever. Is that you?
Yeah, man, I did that when I was like 20. It's so funny.
I've never seen the movie, but is it good? What's up with that movie?
Oh, man, I actually haven't seen it before. I got like
What?
such funny. It's not out. Like, it's been like, tell you the story from the beginning. I was like it's a short film that this woman Claire directed, and it was filmed like 8 or 9 years ago when I was just like still doing my apprenticeship in Sydney, and the two chicks came down the beach, and I was having beers with my buddy. They were like headhunting fucking surfer dudes from northern beaches, and they saw me and they were like, "Oh, we'd really love to have you on this film." And I was like, "I want to fire that. I'm not doing that." And like in front of all my friends, and they ended up finding on Facebook and like pleading with me, "Can we do this? Can you do this film for us? Can you do it?" And I was just like, "Yeah, right. Like, I'll help you out." Yeah. Anyway, it's hard surfing in front of the camera, let alone acting.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's just a 15-minute film, and yeah, I don't know what happened. Like Claire, because she had a kid, and I just went on with my life, and I was like, shit, yeah, that film never came out. How sick is that? You know, like, that's like it, because I just didn't want to have it see the light of day. And then when I was coming over to the West Coast, I get a call from her, and she's like, "Hey, bro, I'm just letting you know, I'm just getting back into the film. You know, it's one of those things I never got to finish, and I'm just like really want to finish it." And I was thinking, oh no. Anyways, I was like, yeah, sweet, good on you. Like, because she had 2 kids, and she just determined to get it done.
Yeah.
She ended up getting it done, and it got chosen to go to the Venice Film Festival. And
rad.
All these big film festivals around the world, and I was just going, shit, like, I thought I was never going to, like, come out, and now it's getting shown around the world.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. So I actually had the Cramaverse play in Milan, and that movie play in Venice in the same year. So I was like, yeah, I got, you know, short film getting played in, like, on the big screen somewhere in the world. Like, I don't know about the story, the whole thing, but definitely prefer to make a Cramaverse 2.0.
Oh, that's funny. Let me make it clear. You have not seen Love Forever yet.
Nah.
You've never seen it. My
mom went and saw it, and like, you know, I'm like hooking up with this chick in front of the camera, and yeah, it was hilarious. But yeah, it's not out. Can't watch it.
Okay.
Yeah,
You got to be able to send it to you. You got to watch it.
No, I think it's something with the contract. They can't send it.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. That's like the best story ever.
I was actually thinking about the 2.0 and like it'd be really fun to like do like a bit of like funny acting in a surf film and make a little bit of a Cramaverse storyline. It would be, but that's just a dream. It'd be fun. Just Tommy and I.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right, Beau, thank you so much for coming on. I'm stoked you're an actor too, and that's rad. Do surf films and acting.
Cover all ground, buddy.
All right, everybody. So this is Mike and Beau Cram. We are out of here. Later. Thanks, Beau.
No worries, dude.
100 foot out, choke food. 100 racks on a surf, dude. Slippery, big guns like Mark Fu. Trap jumping like a kangaroo. 100 foot out, choke food. 100 racks on a surf, dude. Slippery, big guns like Mark Fu. Trap jumping like a kangaroo. You know we don't fuck with no kooks. Your boo on my didgeridoo. They calling me Duke, I'm stacking the loot. I'm ripping your chick in the coop. She grabbing a hold of my leggy. They jelly, they Gucci my weddy. The fridge is Giuseppe, the chain is so heavy, she think that I'm charging the Eddie. 100 foot out, choke poo. 100 racks on a surf, dude. Slippery, big guns like Mark Fu. Trap jumping like a kangaroo. 100 foot out, choke poo. 100 racks on a surf, dude. Slippery, big guns like Mark Fu. Trap jumping like a kangaroo. Surf trap, I'm stacking that money. Your shorts a red Ferrari. He starts to calling me Dundee. Diamonds a surfing McFlurry. She want me to teach her to surf. Splash. I'm pulling up, ripping the verse. I'm leaving these kooks in the hearse. They get moved 100 foot on their head, they get work. 100 foot out, choke poo. 100 racks on a surf, dude. Slippery, big guns like Mark Fu. Trap jumping like a kangaroo. 100 foot out, choke poo. 100 racks on a surf, dude. Slippery, big guns like Mark Fu. Trap jumping like a kangaroo. You know we don't fuck with no kooks. You know we don't fuck with no kooks. They calling me Duke, I'm stacking the loot. I'm ripping your chick in the coop. You know we don't fuck with no kooks. You know we don't fuck with no kooks. They calling me Duke, I'm stacking the loot. I'm ripping your chick in the coop.
Hey, you guys, Endless Summer box set. This thing is legit. It's authentic, numbered certificate in it. It has a 5-frame film strip from the original print. You literally own a piece of history. It has a specially minted bronze medallion. Dude, that thing's sick. Okay, there's so much more here. Go to the show notes. There's a link on there. Go check this piece of history out. This thing's rad. Seriously. Smithsonian American History Museum has it. It took 4 years of research with 3.5 in production, all hand assembled. This thing's rad. So much to this awesome box set. Remastered DVD, sharper images than the original film, but dude, this thing's so sick. Link in the show notes.